For 1993, my fondest memory, and Jeff's a friend of mine now, so it's kind of funny to say, but just the very first Supercross I won at Anaheim, I had to pass Jeff Stanton to do it, and he was the man at the time. And the third round it was at Anaheim, I mean, it's a pass that I made. I jumped on the inside, passed, and pulled away and won my first Supercross. And it's a pass that is tattooed into my head for the rest of my life. It was the start of something, is what it was. By 1994, I was winning a lot. I mean, winning every week pretty much. And I think I won 10 or 11 races that year. And I think maybe I don't really remember the season a ton other than winning, but specific moments, I would say Daytona that year was a weak point of mine, which had always been up to that point. And so I was always I always didn't like going to Daytona, but I think the rest of '94 worked out pretty good. We won the title. '95 was a phenomenal year for me, probably one of my best years ever in racing. Won a lot of Supercrosses that year. I think I even won Daytona maybe that year. And I rededicated myself to the sport of motocross and Supercross in 1994. Up to that point in my whole career, all I heard was, "Oh, Jeremy can't ride outdoor. All he can do is ride Supercross." And everyone was, I mean, they were fairly right. I mean, I was top 5 guy, top 3 guy outdoor, and maybe top 3 or 4 guy at Daytona because it was sort of like outdoor. But when it came to the stadiums, I mean, I just dominated. But 1995 was a year that I finally said, all right, I've heard enough, and I rededicated myself to the sport. And it's funny because I was working with Gary Semix for a long time, and he's a former pro motocrosser. And you know, it finally just clicked in my head that I needed to retrain my thoughts, because the way I looked at outdoors was really poorly, and I was just like, man, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do this. And he really helped me a lot, retraining the way I looked at stuff. And I think that was an important way, because you hear a lot of negative stuff and pessimistic stuff these days from the young kids about how bad things are, but I think you just need to wrap your head around a different way to look at it. And when I did that, I went out and won '95 Supercross Championship and the Outdoor Championship, and dominated the outdoors and beat Jeff Emig, who was my biggest rival through my whole career, and I put it to him. So I finally kind of cracked the monkey off my back and got everyone to be quiet, at least for a while. Well, I think going into 1996, I was so confident, and I mean, I guess I had every reason to be. We won a lot of races, won 2 titles the year before, and '96 was a phenomenal year. I think what stands out the most is I won every race that year except for the second place. So all I think about is the second place. St. Louis was the round that year. It was like round 14 or 13 or something like that, and Jeff Emig beat me, and it was by a half a bike length. What stands out in my mind mostly about that whole day is I think it ruined a perfect season for me, because I was sort of during the day doing the dog and pony show for the promoters like Clear Channel and all those guys, and there was some big sponsors there. We were in St. Louis, and of course Bud's there and Anheuser-Busch and all that stuff. So I remember having to go to the suites and sign autographs in between. I'm walking all around the stadium with my gear on, and like, I don't know what I was thinking, kind of letting myself get tugged around to do that stuff. But if I could change anything about that year, I mean, we had a great, successful year, and I'm not complaining by any means, but I think if I would have paid attention a little more, rested, and been a little more focused, I think I would have won the race. So, but forever it'll be in my head that we got second that night. Jeff rode a good race. The track was really rutted, I remember, and I didn't get the best of starts and had to come through the pack, and almost had enough laps, but didn't get it done. I missed in the whole season. I was 3 points away from being perfect. So that was Supercross. Okay, so '96 outdoor. I'm rededicated. I won the title the year before. I'm going in to the motocross season just looking real good, confident, feeling good. I think I win the first I think I win 5 out of the first 7 nationals, and we have 12 in a year. And came to Millville that year and tried to jump a jump that was impossible to jump, and I was just feeling way too confident, and ended up casing it and wrapped my foot underneath the foot peg and really did some big damage to my left ankle. And of course that's your shifting foot, and so I'm leading the championship by a lot of points. I have to tape my foot like a cast, try and race that race, and then end up, I guess I end up losing a bunch of points. We get a week off or two. My ankle's still messed up. We go to Washougal. This is what I remember from the '96 National Series. Jeff Emig was a champion that year, but these are the things that sort of helped him win the championship. Hurt my ankle, go to Washougal the next round, and as a rider, when you're winning so much, if you can't ride like you know how you can ride, it's embarrassing. So I go to Washougal, and it's a really slick track. First moto, I think I get out. My foot's really bad. I still can't touch the ground with it and stuff. I end up crashing like 3 times on within the first 4 or 5 laps. I'm so far back in the pack, maybe top 20 probably, but I got so frustrated I just pulled it into the pits and got my gear off and left the track. So, lesson to be learned. Every point counts, and you don't, you hear that and you hear that and you hear that and you're like, yeah. So I leave the track, which is total brat. I should have never done that. I was an idiot. But comes down to the final round, Mount Morris or Steel City, Pennsylvania. We're tied going in the last moto. I end up somehow coming back at Binghamton and going 1-1 and to get the points lead again. But then Jeff won the first moto at Steel City, so we're going tied into the last round. And frankly, I was still hurt. I don't even know how I won Binghamton, but for you guys who don't know Jeff Emig that well or his career, he really turned it on about the second half. So Steel City, I lost the round. Albertine beat me too in the second moto. Jeff won the championship, and it was a big disappointment for me because I made a lot of mistakes that year. But I remember it, and they're all right here. Well, we had a tough year in '97. So going into '98, I was feeling really good. It was kind of a rebound year. But once again, there's one big point that stands out in '98. I won a lot of races, had a lot of good battles with Ezra Lusk, Kevin Windham, myself, David Vuillemin, I think at that time even. It was always somebody that was coming up that was going to beat me, So, but anyways, I did get beat a few times that year. I think I won 8 or 9 races, but Pontiac that year, in the main event, tried to jump a jump. I just screwed up really and did a big case on this jump, flipped over the bars, and ended up breaking my scaphoid, my navicular, and bars broke off the bike and everything. So we didn't score any points. I had a big points lead, but I rode the next 6 races, Supercross races with a broken wrist, and just really didn't know it. It was kind of sore, but I didn't really know it. And then '98 outdoor was actually, I raced Glen Helen. I won, I got second at Glen Helen. I think Albertine might have beat me, or Tortelli. And then Sacramento was my last outdoor win that I ever had. It was Sacramento in 1998 on the Yamaha. And I remember going to Mount Morris for the 3rd round. I was leading the series, and I crashed in practice and bent my wrist, and I just couldn't hold on. So I flew home and got surgery right after that, and that was the last time I ever raced outdoors. Well, with the exception of, I did race Glen Helen in '99 on a Yamaha, but anyway, that was the end of my outdoor career. I was looking to extend the length of my career, and I didn't want to race so many races, so Supercross only from there on out. But we won the championship in '98, so that was good. '99 for me was no different than any other year. I mean, I have no problem getting motivated. Every year, all I wanted to do was race Supercross, and I loved the fans and loved being out in front of everyone, and it was sort of like showing off. And '99 was going to be no different. We had a great package that year. Chaparral Yamaha was great, and I mean, '99 was awesome. We dominated that year, and won another championship, and so yeah, took the summer off and went right into the next year was 2000, which was my final championship, and 2000 went no different than any other championship. I had some good battles from, once again, Ezra Lusk was very fast. I mean, there was a few guys here and there that were pretty quick, but for the most part, I dominated the series again in 2000. So I guess I was feeling good going into 2001, but 2001 is when the championship stopped, thanks to Ricky Carmichael.